The Boy from the Shadows. In the dusty streets of Johannesburg, South Africa, where the sun beat down mercilessly on cracked pavements and the air hummed with the sounds of minibus taxis and street vendors, lived a 12-year-old boy named Thabo. He had no home, no father he had ever known, and a mother lost to the shadows of her own mind. Thabo and his mother, Nomza, slept under bridges or in abandoned doorways near Soweto, surviving on whatever scraps the city offered. Thabo had attended school for only a few months years ago, before the kind neighbor who paid his fees vanished without a trace, smart beyond his years with a mind that absorbed everything like a sponge. Thabo was forgotten by the world, but he never forgot his hunger to learn. One fateful afternoon, under the shade of an acacia tree in a quiet park near Santon's gleaming skyscrapers, Thabo spotted a young boy struggling with his homework. The boy was Ethan, the son of billionaire property magnate Marcus van der Merwe, who owned half the luxury malls in the city. Ethan attended the most elite private academy, yet he sat alone on a bench, frustrated, his expensive tablet tossed aside as he failed to grasp basic fractions. Thabo, barefoot and in ragged clothes, watched from afar. He couldn't help himself. Quietly, he approached. "Hey, that one is wrong," he said softly, pointing at Ethan's notebook. "Half plus a quarter isn't 3/4. You need the same bottom number first." Ethan looked up, startled but not angry. No one had ever explained it like that. Within minutes, Thabo broke it down simply, drawing in the dirt with a stick. Ethan's eyes widened. "You're really good at this. What's your name?" "Thabo," he replied, ready to run if chased away. But Ethan smiled. "I'm Ethan. Want to sit?" And just like that, the homeless boy began secretly teaching the billionaire's son. Under the acacia tree. Every afternoon after school, Ethan slipped away to the same acacia tree in the park. Thabo was always waiting, no matter the weather, rain or the fierce Gauteng heat. He arrived dusty from begging or scavenging, but his mind was sharp and patient. Ethan brought sandwiches and juice. Thabo taught math, reading, even history he'd pieced together from overheard conversations and old newspapers. Ethan, who had been labeled slow by tutors, despite all the money thrown at the problem, began to understand. For the first time, school didn't feel impossible. They became unlikely friends. Ethan saw past the dirt and torn clothes to the brilliant boy beneath. Thabo saw past the fancy sneakers and driver, waiting nearby to a kid who just wanted to be good enough for his father. "Don't worry," Thabo would say, when Ethan got frustrated. "Your brain isn't slow. The teachers just talk too fast and don't explain like you need." One day, Ethan asked, "Why don't you go to school?" "You're smarter than all of us." Thabo looked down. "No money. My mom, she's not well. We live on the street." Ethan went quiet. Then he said fiercely, "One day I'll tell my dad about you. He'll fix it." Thabo shook his head. "Rich people don't help boys like me. They chase us away." But Ethan promised, "Not my dad. Not when he sees my tutu what you've done for me." The day, everything changed. It was a Tuesday. Ethan was waiting under the tree, excited because he had finally gotten 18 out of 20 on a math test, his highest mark ever. Thabo arrived late, limping slightly from a long morning helping his mother find food. Before Ethan could show him the test, 3 black Range Rovers pulled up at the edge of the park. Security men in suits stepped out first. Then came Marcus van der Merwe himself, tall, commanding, known across Africa for building empires and appearing on Forbes lists. Ethan froze. His father never came to the park. Marcus strode straight toward the tree, his face stern. "Ethan, what is this I hear from your teacher about you disappearing every afternoon?" Ethan stood up, trembling. Thabo instinctively stepped back, ready to bolt. But Ethan grabbed his arm. "Dad, wait! This is Thabo. He's the reason I'm finally passing. He teaches me better than anyone." Marcus looked at the barefoot boy in torn shorts, dirt-streaked face, eyes bright with fear and intelligence. He frowned. "You've been teaching my son, out here, every day." Thabo's voice was barely a whisper. "Yes, sir. I didn't mean any trouble." Marcus studied him for a long moment. The security men shifted awkwardly. Passers-by slowed down to watch the billionaire confronting a street child. Then Marcus asked, "Where are your parents, boy?" Thabo swallowed. "I don't know my father. My mother, she's sick in the head. We sleep under the bridge near the taxi rank. People call her crazy." Silence. Even the wind seemed to stop. Marcus crouched down to Thabo's level. Something no one expected from a man who shook hands with presidents. "What's your mother's name?" "Nomsa, sir." Marcus stood up and turned to his assistant. "Find her. Now. Best psychiatric facility in the country. No expense spared." Then he looked back at Thabo, whose eyes were wide with terror and disbelief. "And you," Marcus said gently, placing a hand on the boy's thin shoulder. "You're coming home with us. A new beginning." That same evening, Nomsa was carefully taken to a private clinic in Pretoria, where doctors began treatment immediately. Thabo watched through tears as his mother, confused but calm for once, was given a clean bed and kind words. Back at the Merwe mansion in Sandton, gates, pools, more rooms than Thabo could count. He was given a hot shower, new clothes, and a bedroom bigger than any place he'd ever slept. Ethan grinned from ear to ear. "Told you my dad would fix it." The next morning, Thabo stood in front of the mirror wearing the same uniform as Ethan. Crisp white shirt, navy blazer, the crest of Ridgeview Elite Academy on his chest. He didn't recognize himself. Marcus walked in. "From today, you are part of this family. You saved my son's confidence, maybe even his future. Now I'm making sure you have one too." Thabo's voice broke. "Why me, sir?" Marcus smiled for the first time. "Because no child should have to teach from under a tree when they deserve to sit at the front of the class. And because my son chose you as his brother. That's good enough for me." Under the same sky months. Later, Thabo topped his class. Teachers whispered in awe about the miracle boy who outshone students who'd had every advantage from birth. Nomsa improved slowly. Medication, therapy, and love worked wonders. On good days, she recognized her son and called him my clever boy. Thabo and Ethan remained inseparable. Two brothers now, one by blood, one by choice. And whenever they passed that old acacia tree in the park, they would stop, look up at its branches, and smile. Because sometimes the greatest things in life don't start in boardrooms or mansions. They start under a simple tree when one child decides another is worth seeing.